People want this conflict to go on. They don't want us to just go back to being normal and enjoying each other and arguing over, July 4th, barbecue about politics and still being friends.
Is the Justine Bateman uh, news, which I think is kind of like it kind of complements or it's part of this whole thing. What you're talking about, Cameron, is here you have Justine Bateman ripping the Hollywood Reporter for unacceptable claims that she's a well-known supporter of Trump, and this is on the wrap. We're not going to read the whole thing. We're just going to go
Okay.
to her
I
quote.
wasn't aware of anyone associated with that. Okay.
Yeah.
What's this all about?
So apparently, the Hollywood Reporter made this claim that she is a well-known supporter of Trump. The outlet removed it 5 hours later after publishing it on Wednesday night. Bateman, speaking to the Wrap on Thursday, said that it was an unacceptable and tabloid level move by the Hollywood Reporter. I've been in this business for 40 years. I'm used to years ago when I was famous, the Inquirer, the Star, and the Globe, and all that. They would do this sort of shit all the time. Make stuff up all the time, Bateman said. I've never had it happen from an industry trade paper. So I found completely unacceptable. That is not how you conduct your business.
I've never heard that in the industry. I met her once. She came in for a casting session on Sleeper Cell. Perfectly nice person, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, so I mean, she's a long established actress, and you know people's politics generally if they're vocal about them, right? And so I haven't heard that ever. So I don't know where that came from. But what it could have come from, which is what I'm reflecting, which is that there's still the bitter people in Hollywood who are like, if you said something reconciliatory, maybe she made some reconciliatory post somewhere on Instagram or whatever, and some,
Mhm.
about after the election or anything like that. And someone said, well, that's obviously she's a Trumper, right? There's always those
Mhm.
bitter weirdos who like don't want reconciliation. And so I don't know where that comes from because I never heard that ever.
She brings that up
Oh,
in
okay.
regards to this past election. To back up that claim, the story pointed out to an ex post Bateman made a few days after Trump defeated Kamala Harris in November, which Bateman said she was decompressing from walking on eggshells for the past 4 years. But the Hollywood Reporter failed to mention that during her interview on The Kelly Show, Bateman said her recent comments about the current zeitgeist is not a right or left thing. I mean, honestly, I'm not into politics at all. So I think it was because she was able to say, "Hey, we're going to be able to decompress and walk in eggshells past 4 years."
Which is what
This,
all my liberal friends said at the dinner this week.
Mhm.
All my progressive Hollywood friends said, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to play along with Maoist extremism. I can just be a normal Hollywood liberal now." I mean, that's
Yeah.
what she said. But of course, the Maoist extremists, and again, these are fringe. They're not even trades. These are
Mhm.
fringe, like weirdo things that are misinterpreting her, right? Just like I think there are
Mhm.
people misinterpreting James Gunn's comments because I think people want this conflict to go on. They don't want us to just go back to being normal and enjoying each other and arguing over, July 4th, barbecue about politics and still being friends. They don't want us to go
Sure.
back and forth.
Correct.
It's one of those, everything kind of has cycles. And
Mhm.
uh the people who wanted to be kind of like, all right guys, yeah, this is cool and that's cool, or just wanted to be left out of it, had roped into a lot of things that they didn't want to do. And now when it's like, okay, let's take a breather, it's like they're the side that still wants to pitchfork, it's still out. So it's almost like it's a lot of, I think there's going to be a lot of friendly fire in in Hollywood before all
Mm.
this ends.
Well, it'll be friendly fire for stupid people. Like
Right.
everyone's gotten the memo, and that's everyone's gotten the memo. And if you're not going to get the memo, you're just not going to get work. So that's just what's going to happen.
So Jaime, this reminds me of legacy media, and they're just bomb. They're bombing with ratings now because no one watches them, no one cares about them because of the garbage that they have put out. But also too after the elections, it's almost like these guys are trying to stay relevant. So let's make up lies about, in this case, Justine Bateman. What are your thoughts on that, Jaime?
Well, I mean, legacy media has really uh they kind of bent the knee to what was the current zeitgeist and was what was trending, and they failed to really be rooted in truth. And so what happened was the people
Mhm.
just moved on somewhere else, where they could find that. and since they fail to adapt, they're just crumbling. So that's for me one way to see it. Also, since we've as a culture, uh, not, I feel like the pendulum is swinging. We're going back to it, but as a culture, when we left the ideas of truth, we became more tribal. And in a tribal more culture, everything is simplified, uh, and if somebody is not adhering perfectly to whatever the tribe wants,
Hmm.
they just automatically put him on the other side. Uh, so those are unfortunately what happens when you simplify things and you forget that there's a lot of complexities to political positions, to individuals, and so it's simplifying things is a great way to get people to not think deeply about things and to just have like somebody to attack all the time, you know. So